Hello, I got May May here again, and she was just fed, so she's not going to last very long. All right, maybe. Okay, I said the next time I saw you, you'd see me talk about UFOs. Now, the last one I did was the vortex. Okay, see? She gets jumpy when she hears a vortex. So did I when I saw it. But the UFO, I got I'm only going to give two. We don't have all day, but there were two very important ones. One in 1965 and one in 2021. Two of them that Uncle Martin witnessed. Now, I know UFOs is very touchy. It's a touchy topic. You know how I feel about touchy topics. I don't go there. Except this time, just a little bit. I hope I don't have anybody in black knocking at my door. Sorry, that's not funny. Because anytime anybody mentions something like a UFO, they sometimes get visited. But there's so many sightings now, I don't think they have enough. They've hired enough people to knock on these doors. So maybe I can get away with these. Just two stories I have for you. So let's see. The first one was 1965. I was in Boy Scouts. As a matter of fact, wow, thinking about it right now, I had a lot of hair. We were in around the campfire on the very night I did an episode. It was Finish What You're Reading, episode 69. Starts out with Dad popping prickly pears in his mouth, not finishing what he was reading at the time. And then I have two on skunk cabbage. Skunk cabbage, where where the scoutmaster he beat me with the stick. It was a little thicker than this one right here, because I did something really negative, and he took the stick away from me, and he gave me a spanking in front of the whole troop. Troop 254, the Beavers. We were the Beavers, the Builders. So he took the stick away from me. He gave me 11. I was 11 years old, and I don't think he knew it was my birthday, but I got 11 shots with on my behind. He made me cry at 11 in front of the whole troop. You know how you would feel at 11 years old in front of a troop crying? Okay, well, that's the episode. Right after that is the night Dad was cooking skunk cabbage and what happened on that. Now, right after that, you might want to go to 69 and just check that out, because it kind of correlates into this. But right after that, we were sitting around the fire. So if anybody's been in Boy Scouts, you know about the stories they tell you in Boy Scouts when you go to bed. They try to give you a scary Why do they try to give you a scary story? Ours was the guy that he had his hand in a bear trap, and he had an axe. It was a hatchet. I guess he was looking for wood, but he found a bear trap. So he got it, and he couldn't open it, so he had to hack off his hand. What kind of story is this to give kids before they go to bed? So he had to take his axe, and I think he had a claw or something like that. And this is the same guy that's out in the woods right now. He's looking for his hand, some stupid story like that. And I was saying, this is a goofy story, man. Anyway, around the story is done. And by the way, back in episode 69, I said it was around the Raritan River. That's not true, because it would have been a tributary of when I was the trailblazer. It was the Raritan River that way. And what we had was the canal behind us going straight with high tension wires. So as we're all getting done with this goofy story, somebody points out and says, "Hey, look, there's a helicopter over there." And we're looking, and there's something going kind of slow, little blinky lights, kind of a bluish light going. And then all of a sudden it moves a little quicker. And then all of a sudden it stops. Then there's nothing else to do in 1965 when you're around a fire, look up in the eye, you're scared. That was all we had. And it stopped, and all of a sudden, pew, it took off. That. And then, because we're all saying it's a helicopter, and the scoutmaster's saying, no, it's kind of moving weird for a hill. And then when it took off in front of our eyes, it was like gone. We all said, I don't think that was a helicopter either. So we all went to bed. Now, I was more concerned about what I just saw rather than some guy out in the woods without a hand. So that was my first experience. Prior to that, it was just a hearsay story from Mom. She woke up we're in Millstone, New Jersey. She was looking out the window, and I was on the north side, so she was either in the bathroom or in the kitchen because she's looking in the backyard. That was the only two windows. And she said there was a big blue light that was in the backyard. But she didn't really see anything up in the air. It was just illuminated blue light in the backyard. And so, sometimes they say these sightings have blue lights, okay? I just wanted to throw that in there. I didn't see it. It was hearsay from Mom. I didn't see it. The next one I want to say is, see, I wrote it down back then. I have to use my glasses again. I don't like to, but I have to if I want to see what I'm doing on these 100% glasses. Okay, here we go. I wrote it down. It was on May 5th, 2021. This is my backyard. I was having a fire. Fire pit. I have two. It was 9 p.m. I'm sitting and looking at the fire. Excuse me. Then I just happened to look up in the north sky toward Camelback Mountain. And what I saw was, that's what I was saying. Last episode was vortexes. I think I must have saw a vortex, not as close as I did on the vortex one, but it would have been miles away up in the sky. It was like pitch black. All of a sudden, a light comes out of the sky in the middle of a black sky, and it goes from nowhere, half a distance in the sky, and it went another part of the sky and disappeared. But before that disappeared, another one was coming out from where that first one came out. And it went up, and just before it disappeared, another one came out. So I'm saying, what is going on here? So I have it written down 52 times. I counted 52 times something from nowhere came out of nowhere and disappeared into nowhere in like that much of the sky. It was like boom, boom. And it was, I got up to 52. And at 52, I said, man, I gotta get my, I had a telescope and binoculars. And they were both together. So when I ran around the house, got it, and came back, it was gone. So I would suggest stay where you're at. If you're counting, just keep counting until you can't count anymore. I got 52 of these lights that came in from nowhere and went out to nowhere. Now this is on May 5th, 9 p.m., 2021. Anybody in Arizona, anybody in Phoenix or Scottsdale, or maybe Paradise Valley or North Scottsdale. Anybody out there see something like that? Because I'd like to have a comment if you did. So what I did was, when I was writing this down, I said, hey, I wonder if there is any alignment of the planets. See, I'm kind of into that stuff too. And lo and behold, you know what we have? We have on that day, there is an alignment. The alignment of Mars, Mercury, Venus, and the Sun. All were in Taurus, by the way. So this is an alignment that was going on. And then also the moon had four, the moon, Jupiter, and Saturn in the sign of Aquarius were all lined up on that same day. Now I tried to Google all that stuff. You know how they are. They don't give you all the information. I should have wrote down more, but that's all I had for that. So while I'm punching all that in, what I get is something interesting. Coming up, okay, we're almost in Christmas. About a week away from Christmas. Happy early Christmas. We've got coming up in March 28th, 2023, an alignment that's very rare. It's Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Uranus. I don't want to hear any jokes about Uranus, but it's very rare that Uranus would be in any of these Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury lining up. and it's all aligned. It's going to be in an arc, and from along with the moon after sunset. Something to keep your eyes open for. We might have another sighting. I don't know. We do know that sometimes vortexes happen with the alignment of the planets. So that's all I had for that. There was one more I just want to put in there real quick is because there was a big hoodoo in here in Phoenix. The Phoenix Lights. If you ever look up that Phoenix Lights thing, it was in March 13th, 1997. Well, it just so happens I had something to do with that, but I was over on the Buttes, which I have some episodes on the Buttes. It's the two mountains that you have to go through McDowell Road. It separates Phoenix from Scottsdale. And by the way, there is a vortex there. I meant to tell you about that. I should have done it on vortexes, but vortexes and spaceships kind of work together. On Easter morning, there's steps 40, I think 44 steps over there. And the sunrise on Easter comes up and it goes right between the buttes. Isn't that interesting? And I learned that from those Indians that I had picked up from the Navajo reservation. They were Apaches though, so they must have had friends over there, as I said before. And that was, I don't know, I think it was on crystals. It had to do with the geodes. The geode one, whatever the geode one is. If you scroll down to geodes, what the geode was, and he tells me it was the key, to the spaceship. Hey, it kind of comes along with the UFO one. So as we're going through there, because I said, Sedona, that's where they found the geodes and the vortexes. He says, the vortexes? There's a vortex right here. I said, where? He says, we're going right through it right now. He says, that's spiritual. It's a spiritual place right here, right on McDowell Road in between the two buttes. Easter morning, sunrise, the sun goes right between these buttes. And he says, it's very sacred. It's a very sacred area. And I've got some more stories about the buttes and what happened to me there. So there is something going on there. But I can't talk about that right now. I'm just trying to get through the Phoenix Lights. If you look up Phoenix Lights in Google, it'll come up March 13th, 1997. I'm sitting on the side of the buttes. It's about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. And out of the Air Force base, it's helicopter base, these helicopters start coming up. And they go in kind of a V out that way. I'm saying probably Apache Lake, Canyon Apache, or Bartlett Lake. I'm saying they kind of go out that way anyway. So they were doing some kind of maneuvers. Now that's 9, 10 in the morning. I guess it was 9, 10 at night. I looked up in the sky that way, and I see these lights up in the air, and everybody's talking about spaceships and stuff. But I don't want to put a damper on this, but I believe it was the maneuvers coming back. Now they did stay stationary, and there was flares and stuff, and everybody swears it was spaceships. So I'm saying there are spaceships and not spaceships. Now I want to know is what it came in out of nowhere and zipped across the sky and disappeared. Was it one of ours? Was it somebody else's? Did anybody else see it? Okay, so that's what all I want to know is anybody that's had an experience with something in the air, maybe a little closer, further away, and they can't explain it. Leave me a comment, all right? I'm keeping this short because I know everybody's attention span is just so much, but I thought maybe a UFO might get somebody to leave a comment on something you had seen or heard. Well, probably what you saw. Hearsay, they don't go with that anymore. So until we see each other again, aloha, God victory, and be well.